All right. It's time for us as a community to move forward on this school issue. It is, we've been stuck. Not only do we all realize that what we have is not working, but the way the system is set up right now is a way that avoids any input from the elected leadership of this city. The city council, the mayor have no input, and we cannot afford to take a hands-off approach. Sorry, I can't tell you how our schools are doing or why they're doing what they're doing because I have no say. Well, those days should end. This is the 21st century. We all have a stake. Our churches, the business community, parents, everybody, family members, you name it, people who are interested in moving here, the people who already live here. We all have a vested interest in children who can read and write and do math and science, and students who can compete globally. And we have some excellent schools in our school district, but we need more than some excellent schools. We need excellence at every school. And we need a district where you can send your child to the neighborhood school and get a quality education, where you know that your children can compete all around the world and with students from all around the world. So we've been having this debate as a community about what should be the governance structure of our school system. And the reality is that people's right to vote is very important and should be maintained. And so that's why I believe that there should still be an elected school board. I think that we should reduce the amount of members from 11 to 9, and that some of those members should be appointed so that we can ensure that we have a chorus of voices who are qualified to run our school system. So along with the elected members, we should have a hybrid of appointed members as well. The members should elect their own president, and I believe that the school board should oversee curriculum decisions and vote on them and approve them by the superintendent. I believe that the board should also oversee how the district's money is spent and make those money decisions as well, approve contracts. So that's the deal with the school board. With the superintendent, I believe that the mayor should nominate a qualified member and that the city council should approve this person. Whoever the nominee is cannot take their job unless they get 5 votes of the Detroit City Council. Having the layer of council approval ensures community input. What we do is public. When we have public hearings, there's input from the community. So having the council approve things would mean that each 9 of the 9 members would fully vet this candidate. We would do our due diligence, and once this person was invited to the table, there would be a whole process that this candidate would have to go through. First of all, they would come to the table after all 9 offices have done our due diligence, and then we would interview this person at the table. There would be a public comment section, as in all public hearings. The members of the public would then be able to ask questions, and the candidate would have to answer them. And that would be on a Thursday. We would do that live at the council table. This session would be broadcast live as it was happening. It would be rebroadcast later on our community access channels. We would also then have it available online so people could see the interview in its entirety on the city's website. We would also work with the media, all mainstream media, so that they could also broadcast this live on their websites and then have it available later for the public to see it as well. That would be on a Thursday. Later that day on Thursday, then this candidate would be required to have meetings with the Detroit Parent Network and other LSCO presidents from across the city. They would be required to sit down and have dinner with members of the business community. They would be required to sit down with the clergy as well, and with student groups as well. So those kinds of community give and takes would happen on Thursday evening, all day Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. Monday, we would reconvene and see if there's any issues that came up or any observations on Monday, and then Tuesday we would vote at formal session and either approve or reject this nominee that was sent from the mayor's office. There would also be a mandatory selection committee that the mayor would have to work with during this whole process. That selection committee would set up the meetings with these various community groups all across the city of Detroit. There would be a media tour for this candidate. So they would go on the Paul W. Smith Show, Mildred Gaddis, Frankie Darcell, everybody. Our morning shows, morning TV shows, morning radio shows, WWJ, WJR, all the evening shows, Mitch Albom, all those folk. And so the purpose of this, I think part of the reason why the community has been apathetic and really unengaged in this process is because the media have too. So the media would be on this selection committee, not from having input on who should be selected, but how to get the word out that a selection process is underway. And that the mayor would work with this mandatory selection committee, who would be comprised of educators and parents, to set the priorities for what even kind of candidates that he should be considering, and to come up with a group of candidates. The mayor would have the final say on what choice came to council, but the council would have the final say on whether this person was approved. But the community would have strong input and be able to be a part of every step of this process. So there you go. The reason why I've gotten so detailed is because ultimately, if we put this on as an advisory question on the ballot in November, and the next day we know yes or no whether the community is satisfied with the school system that we have now with an 11-member elected board who chooses the superintendent, or should we go to this hybrid system where we would have elected and appointed members of the school board, and that the mayor would nominate and the city council would approve during a very public, multi-step community engagement process. So that would be what I would offer on the table. That's why I'm being so detailed, because ultimately the legislature would have to come up with officially what we would be doing anyway. And so therefore I would offer this to our Detroit delegation so that they could help us lobby the Education Committee in Lansing to push through this plan, or a plan that the community would dissect, debate, but come up with something that we want. Not something that Lansing wants us to do, but a detailed plan that we want. So I'm offering this as an alternative to that other plan that's being offered that I just can't support. I cannot support taking away people's right to vote and having an appointed, 100% appointed school board, and I can't accept only the mayor choosing the superintendent. So leave your comments. Let me know what you think. But we need something that's going to be a compromise plan, because these kinds of plans that allow us to just draw a line in the sand, and one side of the city is over here and one side of the city is over here, and that's what we are debating and come up with, that's not healthy for this community. Our kids can't read. That should be the focus. We should always remember that this is about increasing or decreasing the dropout rate, increasing reading levels and math skills and science skills, increasing test scores, making our schools safer, and more competitive. Smaller and stronger schools is what we need, a reason for people to move to Detroit.